Hey LinkedIn, I'm back and I want to do a video today on tender evaluations and what procurement are doing as part of that tender evaluation. I want to give you 3 insights of mine about doing hundreds of tender evaluations myself and really let you know what the process is like from behind the scenes. I'm really hoping you can use that as part of your bid process and thinking about how you can influence people pre-bid or during the bid. Now let's get into these 3 insights. Number 1, bids can be evaluated in isolation or together as a group. And by that I mean you can send those documents to somebody and they can sit in a dark room on their own and evaluate and give a score. Or equally you could get together in a room and speak about the scores and the responses and come up with sort of a joint view. Or you'd still potentially have your own view within that, but you would be influenced by others. And that leads into point number 3, which I'll come on to a little bit later. Insight number 2. The second insight I want to give you is around calibrations. So you might know calibrations from your end of year review that you have. I don't know if you've ever been in this position. I certainly have, where you think you're going to get a 4 or 5, top marks in your individual performance for the year. But then someone else in the team is getting a 2 and kind of HR get involved and they calibrate the scores and you end up with a 3 or a 4 and it's kind of similar to somebody else and it sucks. Well, it's kind of a similar thing in the bid process. So what we're trying to do with calibrations is to reconcile why somebody in isolation might have given a score of 5 and somebody else might have given it a 1, for example, because those 2 things are too far apart for it to kind of be okay. So we're kind of trying to figure out why that happens. So if you didn't know, calibrations are a thing. Insight number 3 is about big personalities and people who influence the process. And this is particularly relevant earlier when I talked about joint evaluations and people being sat in a room together. So it's often the person with the biggest personality or who's the most influential or senior in the group who's influencing others within that room in terms of what their score should be. So I want you to think about that within your bid and capture management process as well, about who are those people and how they're going to influence for your business as part of that process. We'd like to think that stuff doesn't happen, but the reality is it does. And let's try and put your business in the best possible position. So that's it for today, folks. I hope that gives you a nice behind the scenes view of how things are done, how tenders are evaluated as part of the procurement process. And I hope you can take that and implement it, some of those ideas and some of that into your capture management process. So until next time, take care.